Hello, everyone. We are back again. So we had a last podcast on 15th of August. That was a lot of fun for us, and it seemed a lot of people kind of gave positive comments on that as well. So now we are trying to formalize this process. So basically, we are back again, and I'm hoping. I mean, now Akshan is back in his college, so it will be difficult for him to kind of coordinate time and all. But I'm hoping that we will kind of do it within like once in every week or at least 10 days. That's what the plan is. And the format of the podcast would primarily be will, talk about the latest happenings in those 5, 7, 10 days that we've, so latest happenings on AI side in last 7, 10 days. And then, so we'll discuss those topics. We'll see if Akshan has done something or I've done something around that. We will talk about that. And then basically, then the next section would be if Akshan has experimented with any new tools or any new, things that have come out on AI, he would probably talk about that. And then I will probably talk about what new things I've tried, if at all I try something new from code perspective or from development perspective, and then maybe some general discussion. So it'll be probably 40 minutes, 60 minutes kind of podcast. Generally, we would not want it to be more than that. And yeah, that's what it would be. So basically, now that we are formalizing it, I'll ask Akshan to introduce himself. So besides being my son, who is Akshan?
So, hi everyone, I am Akshan. I am a 19-year-old sophomore computer science engineer. And well, I've been doing a lot of things. I used to be a drummer. Now I'm investing that energy in learning more or less more about cutting edge technology, trying out new tools, experimenting with stuff, robotics. So yeah, that's me.
So basically, he's not yet an engineer. He's just a second year student. So it's going to be another 2 years before he becomes an engineer. He's so eager to call himself an engineer already. So, yeah. So, I mean, you guys know me already. I mean, I am Pranjal. Besides being his father, I do a lot of tech stuff. So I've got a company, Codefire Technologies. That's what I run. But apart from that, I'm very enthusiastic about AI. I'm really, like all my time these days, almost 70, 80% of my thinking time is going into AI. And that's who I've become, like AI enthusiast. And, yeah. So that's my intro. Basically, I am somebody who's AI enthusiast at least for last 3, 4, 5 months. And all my energy is currently focused there. I'm trying to figure out how things are working, what can be done, how people like Akshan could be more productive, or people like me can be more productive, or my company can be more productive. That's what my full time thing is these days. So that's who I am. Now that yeah. So basically, the first section where we talk about the news and all, right? So you have any news, etc., that you want to talk about, Akshan? What like?
So for the past couple of days, whenever I go on my LinkedIn or my Twitter, every single post is about Nano Banana, Gemini Nano Banana. So that is so basically for people who don't know, Nano Banana is the code name for Gemini 2.5 Flash image. It's the image generator by Gemini. So that is something that has been on my feed for the past 2 3 days, and it's still there. And even if I refresh it, so have you experimented with it or
So I kind
experimented
of
with?
heard about Nano Banana about a couple weeks back. So it's so there was a Twitter post that I mean X post that I saw, and that was talking about a new image model that was code named Nano Banana. That at that point of time, it was not even evident that Google has launched it. Although one of the Google's AI team members had kind of posted a emoji of banana at that point of time, so people were kind of inferring that it could be a Google model. So that's when so it was published on LM Arena, which is a competitive dashboard where two or like outputs from two or more model is displayed, and then people have to select which one is the right output. I mean the right output as in the better output as per people. And that's where Nano Banana was launched, and I tried it as well. I was able to do some things. I mean, I was kind of divided between Quen model and Nano Banana. Some of the things Quen was doing a lot better than Nano Banana. That's what my take at that point of time was. But then off late, I think you've experimented more with Nano Banana. Have you tried anything?
So yeah, I was just giving it crazy prompts of images I couldn't find on Pinterest for my new wallpaper. And one thing I realized with Nano Banana is it is not able to figure out the problem and solve it. It's able to create the image in the first attempt, very close to whatever you prompt. But if you try to replace something in that existing image, it struggles with that. So I gave it a prompt to just create a picture of Mars, and two Tesla should be on Mars, and a SpaceX rocket should be there behind the Teslas. And I specified it should be the Starship rocket. It's the flagship rocket by SpaceX, right? And it got the rocket wrong, and I thought maybe it doesn't realize what Starship rocket is. So I posted the image. I gave it the image of a Starship rocket, and it still wasn't able to figure it out. After 3 4 attempts, I just gave up. So my
Grok, Grok and Google are competitors, right? So maybe deliberately Nano Banana was drawing those images perfectly, because my experience has been so good with Nano Banana. I mean, so I mean, yeah, go ahead with your thing, and then probably I'll talk a little more.
Yeah, so it's able to create something very close to the prompt, even if it's very niche, even if it's very specific. But I struggled with improving the existing aspects of those images. That's what my
Mhm.
experience was.
Right, right, right. Yeah, my thing has been I have not asked it to create something from scratch. I've always given it picture for an input. For example, I posted something on LinkedIn where I gave it my thumbnail from YouTube for modification and all. It so generally it does very well in terms, like for example, if there is a human in the picture, what used to happen with a lot of AI image editing softwares would be that the face would be a little distorted. It'll be close to the person who's there, but it will still not be completely that person, right? But with Nano Banana, with some tricks, you're able to get that person extracted, and you're able to put him in any background. So I experimented with putting myself in front of Taj Mahal, in front of in Las Vegas and things like that, and that was like came out absolutely perfect. It was able to figure out at the daytime the kind of lighting, at the nighttime the kind of lighting. I'll put some of those images along with this podcast. But I was kind of, yeah, so image editing in terms, I was totally, like, completely amazed with the capabilities. I think, I mean, so a lot of human effort, for example, in Photoshop, when you want to extract one person's image out of the background, it used to take a lot of effort. I think maybe Photoshop
Right.
has now integrated some AI. It will be probably able to do it now a lot faster. But Nano Banana does it just like that with a prompt. So that's where I kind of, like the model a lot.
Right. So yeah, we both tested completely different things with Nano Banana, and the images that you're showing on your screen right now, they are really well edited. And one question I that came up was, in the last podcast we discussed that students still need to learn coding, because even if an AI an LLM is able to tell me what medicine I should take, I would still trust a doctor to prescribe me something, right? We still
Absolutely.
need a human touch in that profession. Same
Mhm.
thing is with, I would say, with coding, at least at this point, because on large scale with big products, you would still need a senior engineer to at least ensure what's happening, right? But
Absolutely.
with editing, I would say I don't really see how image editing or video editing, these softwares, these LLMs would not replace existing jobs. Like, don't you think
So
that?
this is going to impact, I mean, every single thing that's happening on AI side is going to impact jobs, right? And the pace at which the change is happening, like for example, 6 months back or 8 months back, the kind of image models that we had were not as good as Nano Banana is, right? So I would think it's a 10x improvement, right? It's a so if it happens couple of more times, probably by next year this time, image editing so problem would be solved. And because image editing is kind of visible, we are able to get a visual feedback from looking at it. That's why it's more evident. But same thing is happening with code, same thing is happening with, so even for medical profession, right? In the US or even in India, right, per person, like one doctor per number of people is like, that ratio is pretty high, right? So that's where doctors are not available all the time. So once, obviously the prescription medicines have to come from the doctors, but then you can on day to day basis get a lot of feedback from LLMs. For example, GPT-5 has been completely tuned on health aspects, where basically it has been, it would be able to look at symptoms that you've got, and it'll be able to diagnose things and things like that. So they've put a special emphasis on that for GPT-5, right? So that kind of problem, obviously. So I was listening to a podcast by uh, Khosla, right? He said basically, the doctors have to start using LLMs like automatically, like immediately, because if they're not, because we are humans, we have mood, we might get tired and things like that, right? So while diagnosing a patient, if I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm really tired, I'll not put my whole complete brain power into it. So that's where AI agent or AI assistant would be able to prompt me that, this is what is happening and things like that. So that's where, I mean, all of these are going to be impacted. It's just that, how soon or how far away from now.
I agree with your point on the diagnostician part, because I've seen enough house MD to acknowledge that. And and another thing I realized was, in the last podcast we were talking about AI bubble. We were comparing it to the dot-com bubble of the 90s, of the 2000s, and since then AI bubble has been in every single thumbnail in my YouTube feed. So, what has your opinion changed on AI bubble? What exactly do you think?
So we had the last podcast on 15th of August, and I think right after that, two or three major things happened. Not major things, I mean, major news came out, news items came out,
Right.
which kind of, so everybody's talking about AI. So one of the most important thing that came out was MIT's report, which was around 22nd of August or something, 21st or 22nd of August. They released it. So that said, almost 95% of AI projects are failing. And so that was a big, like news that, if everything is failing, nothing is working out, why do we invest so much, right? And at similar time, Sam Altman did a, like uh, uh, came out, like said in one of the interviews that AI is bubble. Let me try to quote him from there, what exactly he said. So let me just try to pull that out. I think I got it somewhere. Yeah, so Sam Altman basically said, when bubbles happen, smart people get overexcited about kernel of truth. If you look at most of the bubbles in history, like the tech bubble, there was a real thing. Tech was really important. The internet was really big deal. People got overexcited. We are in a phase where investors as a whole are overexcited about AI. My opinion is yes. Is AI the most important thing to happen in a very long time? My opinion is also yes. So basically, he's saying, so the point is right, but my thought about anyways, I'll come back to his comments a little later. So that was the second thing. Sam Altman came back, and the third thing that happened was Meta all of a sudden, stopped hiring AI engineers. I mean, they hired up to, I think, around 50 engineers. They were poaching people from different companies, right? So all of a sudden they put a halt on that. So those three things happened almost within a span of 5-6 days. So that's where everybody's kind of, maybe AI is a huge bubble and stuff, right? So that's where, but my take is still the same. I don't care about, or I don't worry about what financials are happening. From tech standpoint, AI is a super technology, has never happened in past ever. So this is the right time to be into it. And so from the Sam Altman comment, I mean, so he is in a position where, he's secured a lot of funding for himself, right? $500 billion or something like that, I mean, is going to be available to him. Now it's good for him to say it's a bubble, because then it'll stop funding for other companies. So as a competitor, you'll not be able to raise a lot of funding. So 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 I mean, he's a very, very smart person. He knows when to talk about what, right? So that's what my take on his comment is, that, this is the right time for him to talk, to be more competitive, to be able to drive funding for other people. But ultimately they are going all in. They are building such huge infrastructure. They are putting in so much money there. So that's what, I don't think AI is bubble. AI from technology standpoint is not a bubble. I don't, and if it's a game changer. It's a completely new thing. And so one hypothesis I have, one theory I have is, once, because we've seen a bubble happen once, like 20-25 years back, everybody knows this kind of situation leads to a bubble. So they are cautious. They would be a lot more, intelligent in where they're investing, because they know it could be a bubble. So that's where, I mean, although history repeats itself, but in this case I would think, things would be a little in a different direction. But at least from technological standpoint, AI is not a bubble. AI is something which is very interesting. So
So
that's what
you're
my,
more or
yeah.
less sticking to your original
Oh,
point that
absolutely.
AI is not
Yeah,
bubble.
those three news like which led to this whole news. I mean, MIT 95% failure. I've done a whole video on YouTube for that. I've gone through their report, and basically they were saying that 25% of projects are successful, but the way they projected, they wanted to grab the headlines, and and that's where they said it 95%. So if you, I don't know if you've seen my video or not, but basically, 25% of projects are doing well. And my thought is basically, I mean, my crux of that video was that AI is a very new technology, and it's evolving at a really fast pace. So some projects that were started 6 7 8 9 months back, they would probably be using a little older technology, and their chances of success is a lot lower, right? So that's where, I mean, that's how startups work, right? You work on it, at chances of failure are much higher. Similarly, with new technology, chances of failure is much higher, but then you have to work on it to learn it. Unless you learn it, you'll not be able to be successful in future, right? So that's what my final take on that report was. And factually, also they said 25% of projects are pass like successful, which is huge as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, so my take is still the same. I'm yeah.
Okay, that's so you're more or less standing on your original point that AI is not a bubble, right?
Yep.
And earlier we were discussing new tools and new tools that we've recently tried, right? And I actually had a question lined up for that point, and that was in the last podcast. I raised a point where I asked for your expert opinion on AI powered IDEs like Visual Studio Code. It's an IDE, and a lot of different companies will be launching their IDEs, Cursor, Hero, right? In this week, I got my hands on an AI powered terminal. Originally, I was just using my Mac terminal, and I believe you use that as well. And so I got this product. It's called Warp, and it makes my life so much easier because I'm a sophomore, right? I don't remember any of the terminal codes or how to push code on Git. I don't remember any of those lines. It does it for me. All I have to do is press tab. So you were against using AI powered IDEs for students. What is your opinion on AI powered terminals? What do you think?
So I'm okay with AI powered terminals. So basically, what happens is, like, what was the name of the tool again?
It's called Warp,
Warp.
right?
Okay.
WARP.
Okay, Warp. So basically, see, your main skill set is the mindset that you'll gain out of learning coding. Coding is not, I mean, you don't have to actually learn the language, or you don't have to learn the syntax at all. I don't care about that. It's the mindset that you develop as a coder. That's what I'm after. I mean, so as a developer, basically you look at the problem, and then you break it down into smaller pieces, and then you think about it, from all perspectives as to what should be done, and then you figure out the right solution, and then you implement it, right? So that frame of mind, that mindset, once you've developed, I don't really care about what language you're working on, or whether you know Java or you know Python or not, right? So which is why I want you to actually do the language programming, so that you're able to develop that mindset. But for anything else, for Excel or for Word document or for terminal or anything on the side, is should be automated, because obviously you'll want to save some time there and invest more here and learn this faster, right? So it's all about the mindset of a developer. That's what I want kids to develop, rather than actually learning coding or not.
Okay, so it's fine if I use it to install the packages that I have no idea about. It just does it on its own. So
Just be a
talking
little
about
cautious in terms of I mean, because recently some Python packages were hacked and stuff. They got installed by people without even knowing, right? So the moment, so yesterday I was talking on a IIT WhatsApp group, right? People were talking about how to build LLM and how a foundational model can be developed, and I kind of did some research with ChatGPT and Perplexity, and I quoted a number, basically 3,500 crores are required to set up a model similar to DeepSeek 671 billion parameters, right? And so one of the very fundamental error there was, so ChatGPT came up with a number of $41 million, and then it converted to $3,500, 3,500 crore rupees. right? So it was off by a factor of 10. It should have been
Right.
350 crore rupees, right? So
Right.
I just pasted that number, and people were like, this number seems completely off. So I was like, let me go back and check. And I looked at the chat GPT calc. So what I'm trying to say here is AI still makes a lot of mistake, right? When you're using the terminal, you should be really cautious as to what it's doing and what it's installing, because ultimately it's your computer. It might get messed up completely. Have a backup handy, right? Because it can probably delete something which is required. So that's where you have to be really cautious with AI.
I, yeah, okay, that has scared me now.
Yep.
Right.
Right. So yeah, besides the terminal, so basically, any other news that you've tracked recently?
So a few weeks ago, Elon Musk tweeted something about Macrohard. No one really knew what that was at that time. But now everyone has been making fun of the word Macrohard. It's the opposite of Microsoft. What exactly is that? Everyone has been talking about it.
So, so the biggest talking point about that company is the name itself, right? So he's positioning this company as a competitor for Microsoft. So Microsoft kind of started in 1975, right? And he's starting this in 2025. So it's been 50 years since Microsoft has existed. So one of the interviews somewhere he said basically 50 years is like sufficient for Microsoft. Now the time has come for it to be done with. But basically, so I mean, I haven't read a whole lot about it, but basically it's about that this company is primarily going to be AI driven, in the sense that all the software that this company will ship out will be written by AI and will be AI software. I don't know whether they're going to come out with the operating system or not. Maybe, I mean, some of the tweets I read, maybe they're coming up with so in last podcast you were talking about, after the browser, what next? Could it be a AI
I
driven
got it
operating
right.
system? So maybe Elon Musk heard you say that. And so this company, I don't know what exactly they're going to do, but they are the only thing I know about it right now, the only like a news article that I read was primarily they are going to employ only AI to write software here, and the software would most likely be an operating system. That's what they are saying. So basically, let me quickly try to read up the company aims to completely simulate software company like Microsoft using AI alone, where AI agents perform roles such as coding, testing, image and video generation, and management without any human employees. The project announced in late August, yeah, runs on powerful supercomputer and yeah, with millions of NVIDIA GPUs, and uses Musk's Grok chatbot to spawn specialized AI agents for various tasks. The name Macrohard is tongue-in-cheek nod to Microsoft. So yeah, so that's what this company is. Let's see. I mean, yeah, he starts a lot of things, and most of these things end up changing the world. Let's see what Macrohard ends up doing. Or yeah, you never know. I mean, recently he was also in news for some lawsuit, right? He kind of, one of the employees kind of took the code from
Oh,
Grok,
right.
joined
Grok to
OpenAI.
OpenAI. Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, he's always in the news. He's always doing something.
I mean, I think he recently tweeted that Microsoft doesn't really have a physical product. So
Yeah, yeah.
they don't really need physical, actual employees. That's what the concept of macro hard is around. We don't really know a lot about it, but that is the main principle which the company is around. That's what I think.
Yep. Yep. Macro hard. And then recently OpenAI came in news for a lot of things. I mean, they are focusing big time on India, right? Have you heard about that?
Not really.
So
Uh,
basically, one of the things that so Sam Altman was doing an interview with Nikhil Kamath, right? He's from Zerodha, right? So on that
right.
interview, he talked about India is like really important for OpenAI right now. It's almost the second biggest market for them right now, and which is where he later on launched a new subscription for Indian subscribers, right? GPT-Go, which is like 399 rupees for a per month kind of thing, right? So because obviously the consumers here are very cost sensitive, right? So that's where he came up with that model, and it's only for Indian consumers. And I'm assuming that lots of, I don't know whether you guys are aware, or students in your college are subscribing to that or not. What exactly? Have you heard about that Go GPT Go subscription model?
No, not really.
Okay.
No one's been talking about it lately.
I mean,
So what exactly?
the moment he launched this
Mhm.
model, just after that, probably a week or so, Elon Musk made Grok 4 free or something. I mean, yeah, he's changed his model as well. So yeah.
So I was wondering why was I able to use Grok 4 just now before this podcast. I was wondering because for me, I thought it was like $300.
So Grok Heavy is
Yeah.
$300. Grok 4 Heavy is $300, which is like, yeah. So that's a very different concept, Grok 4 Heavy. But apart from that, yeah, itself was paid. But the moment ChatGPT came out with this model, they kind of made it free. And then basically, so there are three or four things that OpenAI is doing with India. So like he talked about this on podcast with Nikhil Kamath. One was that, and then basically they launched this Go ChatGPT Go, and then now they're starting India's first learning accelerator. They've partnered with IIT Chennai, IIT Madras, and they've funded it with $500,000, right? So they're doing some collaborative learning there, and then they're setting up a new office in India, probably in Delhi. So Sam Altman is scheduled to come to India sometime in September. So basically, yeah, a lot of things. They're focusing big time on India because obviously they've got a huge consumer base here. Most of the users here were primarily free users. So they're trying to convert some of them into paid because Perplexity is also focusing big time on India, right? So that's where a lot of
Right.
competition is happening to land grab as much as possible from India because so the biggest market for them is US and then the second one is India. And he's hoping that India will become the biggest market very soon.
Right. And bringing the conversation back to Musk. So last week, it wasn't very publicized, but Grok launched something called the Grok Sonic, and the official name of that product is Grok Code Fast One. It's an AI agent which is supposed to it was trained just to help developers write code, and it's supposed to be the fastest um, LLM, I believe. The only job it has is to help people write code. That's all it has been trained on. We don't have a lot of knowledge on it right now because it was launched like today. So
Mm.
yeah, that's another thing. So Musk just keeps appearing in our podcast over and over
Oh, absolutely.
again.
So coding itself is a huge thing for them, right? I mean, everybody's approaching it from very different angles. For example, Claude has completely shifted its focus towards coding. And I was listening to a podcast where they're saying that, once we are able to solve coding, then everything else becomes easier for us because then our code would iterate over itself and make our model better, and then models would be able to think better. So that could be a self-iterating loop which could get us to basically a very good like super intelligence or AGI or things like that, right? So that's the angle they are taking in. So for that they've Claude Code and stuff, right? But even OpenAI has its, like OpenAI is currently is a general model. They've kind of focused it on medical use cases as well as like everything else as well, right? But then they're kind of now trying to focus on coding as well. Grok, obviously, so Grok has a very different approach in terms of Grok Heavy. What it does is it gives you, so what it does is it spawns 10 different agents at the same time, right? You give it a problem, it will be solved from 10 different independent agents simultaneously, right? And then at the end of it, it'll look at all 10 solutions and figure out which one is the best and then present that best solution to the user, right? So we know that AI is probabilistic. We know it makes mistakes. So that's where everybody's trying to approach these problems in different ways. So, and coding is the biggest industry they are trying to disrupt. I mean, that's the easiest one for them because all the code is, you don't have to do anything physically. You just type it in, right? So it's really easy for them to disrupt, and probably, so that's why, yeah, that's where a lot of money has to be made, right? So that's what they're focusing on. I don't know.
Right.
I
And
haven't heard about
talking
that.
about
Yeah, the
mhm,
Sonnet. I mean, the model that you talked about from Musk's
Grok
perspective. But
Sonic, yeah.
yeah, but I heard yesterday itself he launched something around coding. Like, yeah, so maybe it was that one.
Yeah, and there's wordplay in this as well. Sonic the Hedgehog, it was supposed to be the fastest thing. So there's wordplay in that as well.
Well, absolutely.
And
So
talking about
Grok is a really fast model, right? I mean, it produces
right,
the way it's been hosted, the way it's been run. Yeah, so that's where, yeah, that's a very interesting, like most unique point, as well as he's making it cheap and easily available as well. You were saying something, right?
Yeah, so talking about Musk now, recently Tesla
Yeah.
came to India and they opened their showroom 2 weeks ago in Delhi, and I just wanted to share that I got to experience driving a Tesla Model Y for the first.
Yep.
It was my first time driving a Tesla. I've been a fanboy of Tesla. I've been a fan of Elon Musk for a very long time, and Elon Musk has been appearing in our podcast, the topic of Elon Musk, and yeah, I just wanted to share that a lifelong dream came true last week. I got to drive a Tesla.
The dream would come true when you buy it, right? I mean,
I
just
buy
just
it,
driving
right? Yeah,
it
yeah.
is not a dream
Yeah,
come true. I
maybe.
mean, it's yeah, one of the milestones in the journey. But then once you buy it, once you get it home, hopefully that will be a better, so yeah, I was there with you. I saw the pleasure on your face, and I yeah, kind of was happy that you were able to drive it. But hopefully you'll bring it home sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Um,
So there has been a lot of news about, I don't know whether you've been following it or not, but China hosted robotics games. Did you hear about that?
no, I don't know anything about it.
So
That's
basically,
interesting.
AI is targeting white collar jobs, right? But the next has
Right.
to be blue collar jobs, physical labor, right? So which is where robots come in, right? So that's where China is leapfrogging into, doing a lot of things around robotics. They have lots of companies which are doing it, and recently they hosted Olympics kind of thing for the robots, right? So I was kind of, I was not very closely following it, but I've kind of heard about it. I've seen a couple of videos. So basically, 500 humanoid robots participated in that competition, right? There were 280 teams across the globe, right? 16 countries participated in that competition, and then there were 26 different events that kind of were happening. So Optimus, which is from Elon Musk again, they did not participate. The robots there were like there, but they did not participate in anything. So there are some speculations that maybe they're not capable robots, or maybe Elon Musk did not want to display the capability so that people would learn from it. Whatever, lots of rumors are going around, but primarily, I mean, if you look at YouTube, you'll see lots of robots kickboxing each other. So there were lots of like 100-meter dash and 400-meter dash and those kind of hurdle races and stuff, and robots are able to do it. I was kind of astonished. So people are saying robotics is at the same place where AI was in 2021 kind of time frame, GPT-2, GPT 1.52 kind of thing, right? So that moment has come in, and in next 5 6 years, 5 years, we will be with robotics where we are currently at with AI. So if that's going to happen, and it seems China is much ahead of US. Lots of companies. So most of the Chinese companies won most of the prizes. I mean, you have to look at those. I mean, I'll probably share those videos. They're playing soccer. They are hitting each. I mean, so all the robots, when they're playing soccer, all of them without any formation, all the robots would come to the ball and they'll start kicking each other instead of the wall. So all of that happens. That's really funny. But yeah, so robots are able to run and they're able to find where the ball is and they're able to kind of grab and put it in the goal post. That was really crazy to see that. Yeah.
Okay, so now I get what you're talking about because my Instagram feed, it's been filled with these videos of these robots, and people have actually created full-on Instagram pages just about these robots. So there's this Instagram page, it's called Resbot or something. It's just a robot that approaches people and it makes fun of them or compliments them. And
Absolutely.
another interesting thing is, I don't know if it might become offensive in like 10 years, but uh, in the comment section of all these robot videos, humanoid robot videos, people are making up slurs against these robots. So in the future, maybe this thing becomes offensive, but right now it's really funny.
No, so I mean, so basically, now that you've brought that topic up, so recently, Claude and Grok kind of decided that if you use abusive language with their AI model would have capability to terminate the chat right then and there. Okay, so
Okay.
some people have started to think now we'll get to an era where AI models will have, like we have human rights, they'll have AI rights, and it goes in a very different direction. That if you say this, then AI would do that, and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know where we are heading into, but it's a very interesting time to be. Yeah.
But Grok is known for using swear words, right?
Oh,
Even in
absolutely, yes.
Hindi, in English.
So,
So
so what people are doing is, I mean, so today itself, I was reading a report somewhere, right? So people are using psychological tricks to be able to, so the same psychological tricks that I use, that people use with humans, right? If I push you a little bit, then you'll probably tell me something more, and then if I, kind of, there can be so many tricks, ways to manipulate humans, and psychologists are trying that same thing with models, and it seems they are working. So today there was a report with GPT-4 O mini or something. So psychologists were able to extract, how to create some meth or some drugs with, the AI models. Initially, when they asked it, it said no, I'll not give you. And then they said, I want to help somebody, and it will be really helpful and things like that. And then it started, telling the whole recipe of how to create it. So that's where, yeah. So the AI currently, at least, in these sense, is behaving like humans. So yeah, they'll probably have AI rights very soon, like human
I
rights.
think it was the founder of Google that said that AI works better when you threaten it, right? It was Larry Page, I believe, right?
So yeah,
So do
I
you
mean,
agree with that?
so oh, absolutely. So basically, I was reading one of the reports from Claude. I was looking at their video, like watching their YouTube video as well. So based on different tricks, if you push it, if you abuse it, if you, like use cuss words and stuff, you're able to get it to do, I mean, yeah, if you threaten it that, I'll do this or that with you, then it's able to kind of at times, it does what you want it to do. And that's where, so I've posted a YouTube video as well from their study as to how they were able to manipulate the model to be more sycophantic or more, like divulging more information. So yeah, that's a AI security kind of topic, and I've done a video on that as well.
So I've got an observation related to that. When I give it ChatGPT problem and it's not able to solve it, and then I write the same problem in capital letters, then it tries a little harder as compared to the last time. It's sometimes able to solve it, sometimes it's not able to solve it, but it pays a little more attention when I use capital letters. So yeah,
Mm,
definitely I agree with you on that.
yeah, yeah. So ChatGPT is still not, doing like abusive filter on AI models, so you can probably abuse it and try and see if it does solve the problem for you even harder. So I mean, the other finding was if you talk to it really nicely, if you treat it like really nicely, then also it goes out of its way to do extra things for you. So you can try either of those tricks.
Right. And well, talking about Chat GPT and LLMs and agents. So I heard there was some news about new agent Copilot web application. Do you know anything about that?
Copilot web. So from Microsoft, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Microsoft is changing their strategy on AI all of a sudden, it seems. So they're basically, they were earlier of, I mean, so the head of AI at Microsoft is Mustafa Suleiman, right? So his position earlier was that we are not going to do cutting edge AI models. We are going to stay behind the cutting edge models because that requires a lot of investment. And anyways, within 2, 3, 4, 5 months, new model comes in. So why invest so much money, right? But now Microsoft seems to be changing its strategy now that Meta has stopped poaching people. Microsoft has started poaching a lot of AI talent, right? And they are coming out with very interesting. So recently they came out with a very interesting voice related model, which was, I think I had the name somewhere. I'm really bad with names, but basically they came out with a speech model where it can do four people podcast at the same time, kind of thing. So that's where Microsoft is doing a lot of work, and I think they've improved their Copilot as well. They're rebranding and relaunching it. So not only with code, you can use it with Excel or Word or things like that. Yeah. So Microsoft is doing a lot of stuff. I have never been very bullish with Microsoft, but let's see. Yeah. I mean, talking about Microsoft, the next one is Apple, right? So they are coming with a new launch again, and there's no AI in sight at all, right? Yeah.
Right. Apple is doing very
So
interesting stuff.
they
I
were
actually
so they were
Yeah, go ahead.
supposed to be launching, Siri with updated Siri September this year, but then now it's been postponed to next year. So yeah, I mean, it looks like Apple is falling behind. I don't know whether they'll do anything or not. So they were trying to buy Perplexity earlier on, then they were
For
trying to
yeah,
buy
for
some other
18 billion,
company,
right?
but nothing much has, yeah, is materializing, at least as of now. They have a lot of cash, but who knows what they're thinking.
Apple actually bought something, some AI-based company which was actually started by Amazon. I It was called Ylabs.ai. But I
Okay.
went to their site and it just said they shut down or something. I'm not sure if I was on the correct page, but yeah. Ylabs was purchased by Apple from Amazon in January of this year, I believe. But
Okay.
we've got no real data on that. So that
Yeah,
was
I have
something
no.
interesting I found out.
Okay.
Talking
Yep.
about Apple, I made an interesting observation. You've got you've got a Mac. Is that a Mac Studio in your background?
Yeah, yeah. So here, yeah, you can see that here. Yeah.
Are you just showing off that you've got a better computer than me?
So I was so I was supposed to get, so I had put him an order. It was supposed to come in 3 weeks. It was supposed to come on 6th of 7th of this month, but it came a little early, so it's already here and sitting here, and I was not prepared for it. So I had to order some, power backup and stuff. So now that the power backup came in yesterday, so I will start experimenting with, yeah. So this was, I mean, now I have some hardware so I can run the models locally. I tried a couple of models today. So I tried basically both of OpenAI's models, and I tried basically DeepSeek 70 billion, and then I tried a lot of models. Basically, I mean, I didn't have too much time today, but still I tried a few models, and they are running super fast. So I'm super happy with that, and I'll probably experiment a lot more. Yeah. So AI Studio is here, and I'm excited.
So the main question I have is
Mhm.
that computer. It costs as much as a car. So what made you pay that much for a tiny little box? Why would someone buy that?
So I had to kind of, so even I was kind of debating a lot whether should I invest or not, right? But there were three or like multiple reasons that kind of pushed me finally to invest that much money. So it's not a like a car which will depreciate immediately. One is it'll be something from which I'll learn a lot, hopefully. So my hypothesis is basically, if Google search was paid, a lot of people would never be able to search effectively, because it was free. We tried so many different ways to search, and then we learned over a period of time, and now we are able to effectively search and figure out things, right? Similarly with AI, because AI is every token that you, I mean, either you use the free things, which are anyways not very good, or if you use the paid ones, then you are limited by tokens, right? So you're always thinking about how much money I'm paying. That's where your learning kind of suffers. So I'm not talking about directly chatting with a chatbot. I'm talking about coding. So if I'm using with API, I'm paying for every token, so all mistakes are becoming costly for me, right? So which is where this box or this investment would come in handy, where I can run my AI agents, let's say 24 hours a day, and I can see how well they're doing. So currently, when I was doing AI agents, I was trying to optimize the number of tokens which are getting used, and a lot of my energy was getting wasted there, because ultimately, everything costs money. So I'm going to be able to run models now for free, and it'll run 24/7, and hopefully that way I'll be able to figure out how to make better agents and make them work, right? One is that. Two is basically, I was kind of also thinking about, now I was kind of hitting a limit where I needed to fine tune models as well. I needed to see, I mean, theoretically, it's said that you might not need to, but some of the use cases where I was kind of getting stuck with AI agents was where I thought, if I could fine tune the model, that will be better. So I'll experiment that with this box, right? And then basically, one was my learning. Apart from that, at Codefire, the code that people are writing, they will now have access to unlimited AI, so they can also kind of use it and learn from there. So those were the key thoughts based on which I kind of invested. And hopefully, if it goes well, probably I'll get another box, or maybe, I mean, that is still to be decided. But for example, so yeah, these were the key thoughts which I had, based on which I invested the money. It was a big sum. I've never seen a computer, this expensive, and it's such a small box, doesn't have a monitor or anything there, right? So it's just sitting there, and yeah, but there is so much that this box can do that I'm, yeah, extremely excited to be able to use it.
So basically, instead of paying for every API token, it's just one time big investment, right?
So not absolutely essentially. So basically, the bigger models, for example, GPT-5 and all, right? I'll still have to use it via API. But the workhorse, the main
Okay.
model that will do a lot of heavy lifting, right? Those I can run here. So those can run. So what my AI agents do is, initially, if I give them a task, it plans that, I'll do this stuff and then I'll do this stuff. So that planning would still be from a model which is on the cloud, maybe GPT-5 or Claude or something. But that plan execution would be done by models, smaller models, which are in this box. So they'll do the bulk of heavy lifting, and that's where a lot of money would be saved and they can run. So earlier I would limit the iterations to 5 or 10 or 15, but now I can let it run as much as it wants, as long as it's able to get the right answer. I just care about that. So that's where it'll.
So you've got yourself a new toy to
Oh,
experiment with, to
absolutely.
play
This
with.
is this is my new toy, and I'll hopefully, I'm, yeah, really excited about this toy. So that was something new from
That's
my end this week. And then basically, yeah, and we've done some, even before this box came in. So I haven't experimented that on this box, but we wrote some. So we are also doing a lot of co-pilot kind of things, right? Which would, so we are doing co-pilots for web applications, where if a user is using a web application, there'll be a co-pilot who can tell them, whether they're using the application in the right way, or there's some better way to do it, or if the user is stuck, the co-pilot would observe that and guide them and nudge the user in the right direction. So that's what we are doing, and there was a very interesting demo that I would be hopefully doing very soon. I'm yet to record the video, but yeah, that's a very interesting thing that we were able to do last week. So those were some big things that, yeah, the biggest thing is this Mac Studio. I'm really excited, and I was planning for 6th of September for it to arrive. So I was planning, these are the things I will do, but it has come a little early. Now it has got set up, so I'll play with it hopefully a little, maybe tomorrow and day after. What's new on your side? What did you do? Anything else?
uh, so as I said, I tried this new product called Warp. It's the AI terminal, and while I was testing Nano Banana, it got me wondering. So music is it's a form of art, right? And AI has been able to make music for like a couple of months now. And a lot of people, maybe your age, say that music isn't music anymore. It's in the 70s, the 80s, music was actually art, right? Now it's just composing and everything is done by computers. So music is basically what our brain um, understands as suitable, right? AI would be able to create soothing sounds for our brains in no time. That's what I believe. Well, I was working with these image editors. That's what I thought. We've
Mhm.
worked on images. We worked on video editing. Now, the next thing that came to my mind was music. So, in the next decade or in some time, do you think that AI agents would be able to replace these artists that create music, which is essentially just composing using computers, like instead of actual art?
So I thought that was already happening. So one of the, like, for my videos, the video music that I have been using. So there's a site called suno.com, suno.com, right?
Right.
So that's, I think, one of the MIT labs that they've that site. So that composes music, that writes songs for you, that composes the music for you. That would probably have, like, the whole composition would be there, and then you can have it, right? And you, if you've got a paid subscription, you get basically all the commercial rights for that music as well, right? So music, I mean, like everything else, like art, like uh, every, so yeah, earlier, like 3 or 4 or 5 years back, we used to think creative things would not be impacted by AI, but creative things are getting impacted immediately, right? So yeah, music is already getting. So I was talking to one of our clients is in music industry. I was talking to him whether what impact does he see. So they are a band who play like lead a lot of singers songs, right? For example, Brand Adams song or things like that in different places, right? So he was like, something that he's looking forward to is AI song, that a song that AI created, and then would somebody ask their band to play it later on. So that's the kind of time he's waiting for, would that happen or not. But yeah, I mean, AI is already doing a lot of songs, and I'm not very literate on music. I just hear it for recreational purposes. So that's where I think music generated by AI is also good enough for me, at least, already.
Because as I said, I used to be a drummer, so music is something that's very close to my heart. And right now we hear AI generated music in the background in intros, right? I was thinking maybe like I don't think I think it's very plausible that we would be hearing it in the mainstream media, right? That's
Oh,
what I thought.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, very soon. A lot of these things are gonna happen very soon. Yep. Anything else?
Not from my side. The only thing I'm excited about is the Grok Sonic thing that I will be testing this week, and
Okay.
I will be reporting it in the next podcast. What about you?
I am going to play with this toy and I'll let you know how it goes. That's my main thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be focusing on this week is anyways going to be business busy in office as well. So I'm not sure how much time I'll find, but whatever time I find, I'll probably be investing on this box. A lot of my time in near future, probably a month or two, is going to be focused on this. I have to push it to the limits and see how much I can do with this box. So that's on, yeah, one of the top things on my agenda. Learn as much as possible, because so yeah, once we learn enough, then we'll be able to do a lot better for our customers as well as for us. So that's what I'm kind of going to be focusing on this week. Cool. So if you don't have anything else, let's close it here. So yeah, I mean, this time we messed up the format a little bit, but hopefully while we, kind of do it regularly. So for us, the best thing would be, you will, so for me as a parent, it will be good that I'll be able to push you to do some things, and I'll be able to track it, and I'll be able to kind of, like you'll have to report it here as to what you've done. So, so that way you'll end up doing something. One is that, and two is obviously accountability always helps. Even for me, if I get slack somewhere, so I'll probably be focused. So hopefully we'll try and do it every week, if not at least once in 10 days. And yeah, if something interesting comes up, some new launch comes up, maybe we can do ad hoc as well. But that's like only if we are available. So you have to take care of your studies, you have to take care of your tests and assignments, etc. on the side, because this will not stop, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And this thing for me is I used to listen to these podcasts and the video on new tools, but now I try to pay extra attention. I actually rewind even if I, subconsciously hear something because now I've got a new topic to discuss with you.
Oh, absolutely.
So
So
yeah,
you were talking about your Instagram feed had those robots playing a lot of stuff, but you didn't
yeah,
pay close attention to that, right? So so
right.
stop scrolling, like mindless scrolling. Start paying attention to what you're looking at, and then use it in the content that we're talking about here. So yeah, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. Right.
Alrighty, yeah. So let's end it here, and hopefully we'll do it next week again. Alrighty, whoever watched it, thank you so much for watching. We'll come back again. Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty, bye.